Welcome to another episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. I'm so happy to have you join us again today as we dig into another profitable topic because this is the podcast where we look for hidden profit leaks. We like to uncover them and then show you how you can plug those leaks in your business. And so far, 2 years running, we have not exhausted our supply of profit leaks. So keep listening. Let's keep finding those profit leaks and let's keep empowering your bottom line and increasing your profits in your business. My guest today is Jerry Levinson from Profit Now for Flooring Dealers. That's a mouthful when I said that almost too fast. Welcome, Jerry.
Well, thanks, Diane, for having me on the show. I was really looking forward to this. I mean, you're that on that subject that's near and dear to my heart.
Yes. Well, I met Jerry at a marketing conference, and you're thinking, what's an accountant doing at a marketing conference? Well, she's there because she doesn't know how to market very well. So I thought that was a very good day that we spent together, and I
Yeah.
came back armed with a pretty good sized to-do list, which I haven't accomplished most of it, but we got to start on it.
I mean, it's just like
And
everything else, the experts seek out experts.
that's
There's
right.
always another level and there's always more to learn. And I know when it came to coaching, consulting, flooring dealers, I had to learn not as much how to consult, but how to sell consulting to them. So I had to
Yes.
seek out experts that could help me sell what I do better.
Right. I've been coaching with a sales coach for about a year and a half now. Because I'll say, as an accountant, I sucked at it.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was beyond terrible. And don't you guys laugh at me, because I know most of you are good at selling. I wasn't. In the accounting industry, you didn't have to sell. People line up waiting to get in. And so it was a completely different when I started switching over into the coaching world and bringing these profit type coaching out to the home services industry. All of a sudden, I had to be able to tell somebody what I did and why it would benefit them. And that was really hard. It was scary.
Well,
And
I'm
so,
actually hiring
yeah,
somebody now to help me in that area, and I can help all of my flooring dealers close at a higher rate. I can help them improve their closing rate by 20%, but I have a hard time helping myself, and help them close the deal.
mm-hmm.
It, it's not easy, and it does, there are some techniques and things that you can do without being pushy. There's this one guy out there that teaches how to sell, and his method just really turns me off because it's about being
Yeah,
empathetic and talking quiet and soft. And I'm like, well, that's acting. You're acting like you're empathetic. This isn't sincere. So I reject a lot of the selling tricks, if you will,
right.
that
Yeah,
make me uncomfortable.
right,
I don't teach those, and I can't use those myself, not honestly and with
right.
sincerity.
Yeah.
So we want to teach our people, to honestly, ethically sell what you do
Hmm.
and show that it's going to be the benefit. That's the killer part too, right? For you and me is and the people listening out there, what you do is really good for people. You know that it's in their best interest to buy from you
Right,
versus somebody else, but you don't feel comfortable as closing as hard as possible, as
right.
Chet Holmes would suggest that you do.
Yeah, yeah. I could not do that type of I couldn't even do like the Sanderson method, any of those, because that just doesn't resonate with who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Um, I have been coaching with Joe Palo, who's the author of How to Sell Nothing.
Oh,
And
really?
his system has really helped me because it's all about listening to what your customer wants or your client wants, listening
Yeah.
to what they want and helping them get what they want. And it may not necessarily be what I'm selling, but it's what they want and it fits in with what I'm selling.
Well,
But
and you can't sell what you know that they need
you have to
as
sell
much
what they
as what
want.
they want. And then you can
Right.
provide
Yeah.
what they need
Mm-hmm.
after they're a client of yours. So you can still
Right.
provide that. Back in the day, say 5 years ago, nobody in the flooring industry was interested in marketing. And I know that was one of the number one things that they need to grow their business.
Mhm.
But what they were interested is sales training and closing more sales. and teaching their team. But what they really needed was better marketing to attract customers, and they needed a better selling system in order to sell. So you've got to market to them with what they believe they need, and then provide the benefits that's going to help them reach their
Right.
goals.
Right. Yeah. And so it's a delicate line that we walk. And I'm sure our listeners are nodding their heads going, "Yep, I get it." They're in the same boat we are. Is they know that they are potentially the best answer for their customer.
Right.
And if we don't offer our services to those people out there, we're actually doing them a disservice because we're holding our knowledge close to the chest instead of putting it out there for other people. But yet, people don't always recognize that, yes, this is something in their best interest. And it makes it sometimes tricky and challenging.
Yeah, and your audience is by and large in the home improvement industry, right?
Correct. Uh huh. Yep.
And one of the problems, the challenges I see the most with people, the experts in the home improvement industry. First of all, most of us come from the technician background.
Yes.
The flooring
Yep.
guys were the installers, the painters
Yep.
were the
Hmm.
painters, plumbers
Yep.
were the plumber. And so they sell very mechanically. I'm selling the work that I'm doing rather than the results that my clients are
Then
getting.
can get
And if
right.
you look at I challenge all the people in the flooring industry to look. I run a flooring dealer forum on Facebook and got 9,000 people, and I challenge them all the time. Find me an ad that gets somebody excited about flooring. All the ads do the same thing. They talk about durability or
Yep.
price.
Yep.
And as if this woman is sitting on her couch going, "Man, I wish I had more durable floors." So,
Says nobody.
right, right. And I imagine it's the same in the other industries too, where it's kitchen cabinets, remodeling. Nobody gets people excited about the results of what they're doing.
Right.
Um, I think we heard about it during that conference, or Jay Abraham said, people are looking for the outcome
Right.
of
Yep.
what you do. Not
Right.
even the product, not the service. They're looking for the outcome. So what is that outcome?
I know. A year ago, my husband and I built our brand new home. And when we were picking out that kind of stuff, it was not my top priority as to how durable it was or anything like that. It
Yeah.
was, especially I'm thinking of the kitchen, especially because that was where we put in some beautiful floors and cabinets. But I was looking at more the aesthetics of it. I have this chance to create my dream kitchen. What do I want it to look like?
Yeah.
And then everything else came into play. Once we decided the direction we were going, then okay, now we'll talk about maybe some durability. We'll talk about scratch resistance. We'll talk about all that other
Right.
stuff. But that's not what got me there to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, look at car sales. Nobody's going to buy an ugly car that's efficient. I mean, not nobody, but vast majority of people that are looking
Right.
at a new car, if
Mhm.
that was the case, everybody'd be driving a Toyota Corolla. But it, we're not looking for the ultimate in efficiencies and safety. The first thing is do I like the way that car looks?
Yeah. Or that
So
sounds
it's going to
or
be the same thing in flooring or kitchens or fans or
Mhm.
blinds or anything
Yeah.
else in home paint. Are are you selling the sex? Are you selling how it's going to look? Are you selling
Yeah.
the things that people are really interested in?
Yeah. In my case, I was envisioning family dinners. I have this big island in the middle of my kitchen. My other kitchen was we called a two-butt galley. You could barely
Yeah,
pass somebody. It was so small. So in the new home, we've got this beautiful big kitchen. We've got the um, just there's room that three or four people could be cooking at the same time, and that's what I was envisioning when we
yeah,
were building out this house was holidays, family get-togethers. And
yeah.
that's a completely different message than, like you mentioned before, the durable floor.
So with the social media out there too, marketing is very easy when you're selling that and telling that story about the kitchen that you just provided this customer,
Hmm.
the product or service, and how much they feel and love it. And one thing I find that's a really good headline, this might surprise many of you, but if you lead with the headline of how much it costs, and don't do discounts or sales, but like this was a $47,000 kitchen remodel, and she got this and this and this, and my team got it done in just a few weeks. and you're talking about it. Oh, she had a party and she just loves it. You're telling a story like it's on
Oh,
HGTV.
yeah,
And the fascinating thing about leading with the price is that's a great headline. Because if I put an ad out saying that kitchen bath remodel, $47,000 for this, I don't know, title it, uh, great Olympian kitchen um, that my customer in Mississippi just absolutely loves. And my team got it done for her in just a few weeks. You start off the story with the price, everybody's going to read that to see what you're talking about.
yeah.
You're
What's
curious.
included in this expensive kitchen? Yeah.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
don't have to give the details of like the square footage or what exactly things cost or how you came up
Hmm.
with that price, but it gets you in that market and where you starting to think about, I wonder what my project would cost. I'd like to get that. I'd like to get an estimate on that. Or maybe you have some questions. So you call the company or you go into their showroom and that's good marketing. You got the
Right.
call. You got them to come in your showroom.
Plus, you've also anchored that you're not the low cost Dollar Tree of your market.
Yeah.
You've anchored your price up there, and they know they're going to be somewhere in that ballpark, higher or lower, and they're not expecting a $15,000 kitchen remodel.
And the fascinating thing about that too, Diane, is that I ask all of my clients, who's the low price leader in your area? Who's the one that's just crushing it because they have the best price? And it's nobody. There is nobody
Oh,
leading
okay.
our industries with lowest prices. Do you know what the least expensive flooring you can buy today is, or the least expensive flooring available is?
No,
It's the
I don't.
stuff you already have.
Okay.
Why am I shopping for flooring if I can't afford it?
Uh-huh.
If I'm not looking for something better that I'm really gonna like, why there's no heavy need to get new flooring. You can live
Right.
with what you got, no matter how damaged or dirty it is.
Mhm.
It's not like your air conditioning broke down
And you have to get it
and you have
fixed,
to get
right?
it fixed, and it's an unexpected expense.
Mm-hmm.
People buy new flooring or new kitchens because for two reasons. They hate what they have and they got the money to get something else, or they
Right.
decided to finance it.
Right.
So they they hate what they have and they got the money to do something else. And we're leading with a discount, which doesn't work because nobody has
No.
any clue what this stuff runs. So offering a 10, 15% discount or a low square footage price from a marketing standpoint, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But we're following the leader. That's what the empires are doing. That's what Home
Oh,
Depot's
yeah.
doing, free installation, and we get intimidated by it and end up copying the leader who we think's the leader. And it's so bad that the messaging doesn't work. And what I tell people is what works for Empire, what works for the big companies, they're spending $100,000 in your area. So don't think that you can copy and imitate their message and have it work with a $3,000 a month spend.
No,
It's
no,
not going to
can't
work
work.
for you.
None of us are big enough for that to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's people are seeing their ads so much. It's not the message, it's the frequency that they're seeing their marketing. So that's what's working for them. So don't be fooled into believing you've
Right.
when you're a small business owner, you're a company doing 5, $10 million a year, something like that, or two or three, which is kind of the average in the flooring world, 2, 3 million. When you're playing in that sandbox, you've got to be very strategic with your marketing. And I try to advise people what you want to do is dominate a product category. Don't try to sell everything that you do. Try to really focus in on dominate on one product. Because do you have a revenue goal or do you have a goal to get to sell everything you do? So I like to talk about a revenue goal. Like if we want to get to 5 million, what's the fastest path to get there? It's not by selling everything. It's by being great at selling carpet
One
or
thing.
being
Right.
sell a specific product.
Mhm.
You can still sell the other stuff, but when you're doing your marketing, which is complicated and expensive, you need to be very strategic and think about how you're doing it, what your message is, and how you how you can really connect with that customer, start a conversation going on in their mind.
And I think it's important that we're very crystal clear on who our customer is because we have limited dollars we can spend. We have limited bandwidth. If we blow it,
Yeah.
we're not like those big companies where they blow it. Oh, well, they just they just come up with another ad and out they go again. We can't do that.
Yeah.
It's too expensive for us. So we have to be crystal clear on who is our customer, who are we trying to talk to.
Now, for home improvement guys, for people that deal with residents, that's a lot more complicated because I've been doing this for years and grew up with the Joe Polish and Dan Kennedy and the masters at marketing, and it's always about choosing that target audience. For you and me, we can target certain businesses. Like you target home improvement businesses. I can narrow my niche to flooring or kitchen remodels. So that makes marketing really easy for me. When you're dealing with a residential community, you could still target, but it is a little bit more difficult to identify who that is. But you're right in that there's still people that are more likely to do business with you, like empty nesters.
Mhm.
Um, Certainly, they've shown studies that both the men and women are making the decision equally when it comes to what they purchase, but still the marketing is the women. The women
I think
decide,
so.
they do the shopping.
Yes.
They go do the research online and they say, let's go to this store, let's call this company to come
Mhm.
out. So you're still going after her. And I always picture my avatar. She's sitting on the couch and husband's watching the football game. She's watching it too, but she's also scrolling through her phone. So how do you get her to stop scrolling?
And get
What's
her
your
to, yeah, to
message?
pay
And
attention.
it's
Right.
not that sale or special, but what are you going to do to interrupt her pattern enough to get her to stop scrolling and see what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. Because there's a lot of chatter while she's scrolling.
Yeah.
And what gets her to stop on what you have to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've found some tricky ways to do that between leading with the price. I've got a saying behind me in my other office says shoot the damn video. I It costs you nothing, shoot
Nothing, right.
videos, post it
Yeah.
on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook. And you know, I try to get people to lead with a brand and talk about that same brand over and over again. In our market, we have Revwood and Cortec, but rather than saying luxury vinyl or laminate, talk about a brand. Again, if I was in kitchens, I would talk about a specific brand and highlight it. And it doesn't mean that you don't carry the other things. When I was in the window covering industry, we were a Hunter Douglas gallery dealer, and the Hunter Douglas is the most expensive brand on the market. And our business took off when we dedicated to that brand. There was a
Mhm.
value in that. And we were able to increase our average ticket and increase our profit margins and our closing rate by leading with Hunter Douglas, because it was a brand that was familiar to our target audience, the women
Mhm.
who like good fashion, the women that buy Gucci purses and Louis Vuitton. So there's a lot of value in that. So even if the flooring industry is not good at branding the products like the window covering industry was, but even if you don't have that, you can make it up. If you're in the painting industry, I was talking to one this morning, you can have a process that you can brand and talk about that process and make that sound interesting. All you want people to do is, what are you talking about? You want them to raise their hand and reach out to you to get more information about what you're talking about.
And
So,
I think we talked about that at that conference we both went to about naming your process,
yeah,
giving it a special name so that it sounds special when you're talking about it to somebody else.
right,
And
right.
it's
You want
unique,
people,
it's yours, it belongs to you. Nobody else has this process.
exactly.
And yeah, when I heard that, I thought, wow, I need to start naming some more of my processes. I have quite a few of them named, but not all of them.
Yeah. We have a product that works great. It's called Dumbo Spray. It kills dog urine, mold, mildew, bacteria, and odors. I made that up out of whole cloth. I was sitting around one day and came up with dog urine, mold, mildew, bacteria, and odors. Dumbo.
Jumbo.
All right, let's let's go with that. Hopefully Disney doesn't come down on us. But
Right. Yeah.
if they do, actually, it would probably be a really good thing, that story that Disney give us a cease and desist letter. But
Yeah. You get a lot of
um,
mileage out of it.
yeah, yeah. So, particularly when you're in such a competitive field, like say painting, where, how do you distinguish yourself from other painters? It's very difficult to do. So coming up with that, naming that process that is unique to you. I'll give you a great example. We were selling wood blinds back in the day, and I had a product called Diamond Select Wood Blinds. And a competitor of mine went to the manufacturer, and he was selling the same exact product I was, but he was selling 2-inch wood blinds. I was selling Diamond Select Wood Blinds. And
Okay.
he's like, "What's the deal with this?" I gave him labels to put on the bottom of our bottom. He says,
Uh-huh.
"I just lost a job. This guy, he charges more money, and it's the same product." He says he just names it, and that's how he does it. So I was able to sell at higher prices because I told a better story.
Right.
Same,
Yep.
we were at a home show and somebody went up to our supplier, it was Carndine, and we talked about it. It's waterproof wood style flooring. And he complained to our rep. He says, "How come we don't have waterproof wood style flooring?" He says, "You didn't know that was waterproof? It's the same stuff. It's just his marketing. Messaging's better."
I think it's all about the words. And I know I find myself struggling to come up with creative words. But in today's world of AI,
Yeah.
we have no excuse not to come up with creative words anymore.
Yeah,
All
you're
you have to
right.
do is start describing what you do, and AI will give you 5, 10, 15, however many options you want,
Yeah.
and you can choose from something. Where in the old days, you would sit there and you might talk to some friends and back and forth, and you'd come up with some sort of a name that maybe was okay. A lot of times it wasn't. But
I,
now it's so easy to come up with names for things.
I'm a very creative person, and I have a love-hate relationship with ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
because it does such a good job in a lot of cases where I feel like it diminishes my value.
Oh,
Sometimes I'll put it in and give it instructions like, "Here, I want to create this sales letter or something," and I'm like, "Ah, damn it, that looks really good. Shoot." So
I'm the other way around going, oh, finally, here's one that sounds good.
yeah. No, it is amazing what you can use it for too, and to utilize that coming up with marketing ideas, and even if it doesn't give you the right idea, it'll get you close enough,
Right.
or have you think about something you didn't think of. So I
Well,
use it daily.
yeah. Since I saw you a few weeks back, we embarked on a old school shock and awe campaign.
Okay.
We created a list of businesses within the state of Idaho and Spokane, Washington, because we're just across the border from them. Came up with about 170 names and put together a old-fashioned shock and awe box with a couple of my books in it and a bunch of other little stuff in there.
Yeah.
Sent it out, and we've picked up a couple clients from
Oh,
it.
good. Yeah,
And
nice.
woohoo, it still works, even though it's old school. Nobody's done shock and awe boxes for a while.
Yeah, I've done you know the bullet? Do you ever get the bullet from Dan Kennedy? It's like a
Uh-huh.
3-inch
Yeah.
bullet. I
Uh-huh.
sent that to a couple dozen clients. I didn't get anything out of it. One client was pissed. He was gonna write me a nasty. He thought I was threatening him, so he was
Uh-oh.
gonna write me a nasty letter back, or and put something inappropriate in the box, and he wanted to tell me to go f myself. And but his daughter looked at the tube and saw the sales letter in there before
And
he
there,
did
uh-huh.
that. Thought, "Oh man, it's a good thing we didn't send that out." It's like, "Hey, give this a shot." And so um, but we sent out a pool ball. One thing I haven't done in a shock and awe, and you just gave me a great idea for that, is sending a book out, because I just finished my book last year. It's about a year old and really good. It's the playbook for flooring dealers,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it's going really good. I've given it to a lot of people. Is selling it for $50 a book, um, and it's working really well. But sending it out to people in a package like that, I like that idea.
Yeah. I just thought I had to come back and get creative. We're kind
Yeah,
of felt like I was getting some crickets out there with some of the other stuff we've been doing. It's like, okay, let's go offline and let's develop a little group of businesses we can mail to. So we picked plumbers, roofers, HVAC, and electrical. Those four. Used software to help us come up with a list of names. Had to go verify every address because about half of them weren't right.
yeah,
Got a clean list and have mailed a couple things out to them now. And hopefully hopefully they'll go to our website and download the things that we're off, some of the things we're offering over and above what we're sending them.
yeah.
But I'm hoping we're going to pick up several more people from it.
When
Just
did you
thinking out of the box.
when did you realize there were no rules to the game?
Oh, a long time ago. Because I've been
Yeah.
a Dan Kennedy fan for years.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and it's about
yeah.
being creative and boy, in the flooring business, I had a client in the blind business. I had a client that was in the refuse business, and she gave me a great idea. She said she sent out letters to everybody, didn't get a response. So what she did is she copied it and threw the letters on the ground and drove over them with her car. And then she sent it back to the people with a note that said, "Hey, we noticed you threw this way and thought you might want to keep it." So she got
Very
a great
good.
response from that. I tried
Yeah.
it, it didn't work as well for me because I was in the blind business, not the refuse business, but
Right.
I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty clever
Well,
outside the box.
we had a well, you'll notice behind my head is a Profit First book, and I'm a
Yep.
Profit First professional. So I had a list of about 60 names of people I had talked to over the last probably 4 or 5 years that had taken zero action.
Yeah.
And so we started a lumpy mail campaign to them. That's 60 names, and we sent out 9 different lumpy mail letters. So they got all kinds of things. They got a bank bag, they got some shredded money, they got a stretchy $100 bill, they got handcuffs because you're handcuffed to your business. And obviously, you can't make changes because you're too
Yeah.
handcuffed to your business. They got dice. Are you just throwing the dice in your business, taking your chances? They got, oh, I'm trying to think what all of them were. Anyhow, over a section of 9 of those, we picked up 2 people as coaching
Yeah.
clients. Out of
Good.
60, I thought that worked out really well. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not talking high numbers, but you don't expect high numbers on that small of a group of names. And
Right.
to me, they were basically cold. They were cold now. They had not taken any action. We've been dripping on them with a newsletter and emails and stuff like that, but they'd taken no action. But to get 2 of those people to put their hand up and say, "Hey, I want to play."
In your profession and mine, it's typical to have a lower closing rate, but in the retail world where somebody's in the home improvement audience, I say 50% is good. If you
Right.
have
Yeah.
good lead generation, 50% is good. Your rock stars will do 60, 65%, and sometimes the owner will. If the owner's the one that's selling, they'll typically do better. And
Mhm.
not by giving a lower price. And this is another thing that
No, not by pricing lower.
I showed this in a graph in my group, and um, the people who have a higher average ticket also have a higher closing rate. And the
Right.
interesting thing about this formula is when you have a higher closing rate, you need fewer leads.
Right.
And when you have a lower closing rate and a lower ticket, you need more leads, which costs a lot more money in marketing.
Mhm.
So it's less expensive to run a high ticket business than it is to run a low ticket business and chase, you know, the small guys. And the other thing that's funny is they say they're frustrated that they're getting tire kickers. And it's like, well, look at the ads you're doing. You're
Look at
attracting
your
the
ads.
tire
Yeah.
kickers. You're
Yep.
not
Yeah.
attracting people who want nice stuff. You're
Right.
attracting them based on discounts or
Yeah.
sales or specials.
And you think of it, say you want to grow $1 million business and you've got how many people would it take at $100 product
Yeah.
versus how many people would it take at a $10,000 product or a $50,000 product? How many people would it take? And the numbers just drop off dramatically. And your cost of marketing drops off dramatically too.
Yeah, we're showing in I have Jerry's flooring family we do every other week, and it's a group. I've got about 14 dealers in there, flooring dealers in there, and not drug dealers. And what we're showing them this week is that how to increase the average ticket. And there's two ways to do that. The first way is through your marketing, attracting the right customer, and the second way, um, now you can just raise your prices. That's one way, but the second way is really starting with more expensive products and bundling your services to them.
Mhm.
And that's another big aha that a lot of the contractors, the technicians who start a business tend to give line item quotes and
Right.
charge
Yeah.
customers for everything they do. And we package everything together. So, like, say you're buying carpet, it includes the carpet pad, installation, the carpet, and moving your furniture. Well, a lot of people don't want to price that in because it increases the price. And I've said, studies show that anybody that can afford new carpet has a bad back and they don't want to move their own furniture. So, it's like, guys, if I went into a shop to get my brakes done and they said, well, we don't touch tires, you got to take your tires off and then we'll do your brakes. That's a
Oh
horrible
yeah.
experience.
That's a
It's like
terrible
the only
experience.
way you can get to the floor is by moving the furniture. So
Right.
do that for them. Make it easy for them. You can charge. You could charge for
Yeah,
anything.
they'll pay for it
They'll
to
pay
take
for
away
it.
that friction that they have to move their furniture before you arrive. Yeah.
Exactly. Where'd you hear that? The friction.
We talk about that all the time in Profit First, because
Okay.
sometimes we're taking away the friction, but other times we're adding a little bit of friction
Oh,
because we
okay.
don't want the tire kickers. We want the people who are serious, and so we'll make them jump through a hoop. They'll have to answer a couple of questions. They'll have to do something before they can get to see me.
Yeah.
Put a tiny bit of friction in there.
Okay.
And then those who aren't serious won't do it. And
I
then they
got
just
it.
go
That's
away.
great. Um,
So,
do you know who Dean Jackson is?
no, I don't.
He's with Joe Polish. They
Okay.
had the I Love Marketing brand together.
Okay.
I went into Dean's mastermind. It was just a 3-day event that he had in Florida, and the first thing I sat down with him, and after I got to the hotel, I said, "Man, I wish they had a way that I could just come in. This is before COVID. I could come in and just go to my room. I hate going to the front desk. I hate
Uh-huh.
waiting. Just give me my key. Let me go to my room." And he says, well, they do have that. It's a friction-free experience. And he says they actually will pick up your bags from your house and deliver it to your hotel. You go on your flight, you show up, and you have your tickets and all that. And I looked into it, it's very
Whoa.
expensive, but
Uh-huh.
but
But it
anyhow, it
is
gave me the idea.
available.
It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Let's provide a friction-free experience.
Hmm.
You know what your customers need, don't charge extra for it, just build it into the
Build
price.
it into the
And
price.
it should be
Yes.
part of the process of doing the job.
And as we've been talking, you've used the word experience. And I think sometimes people forget that whatever it is that we do, we're creating an experience for our customers. It can
Yeah,
be a good one, it can be a bad one, it can be mediocre, but we're still leaving them with an experience. So why
yeah,
don't we make it a great one? What can we do differently? And I'll use the example. One of my clients came and put a new roof on my office building. We were having some trouble with some leakage around a couple of the windows. And so he says, we were just fussing. And one day he goes, well, let's just throw a new roof up there. That'll fix your problem. And I went, okay. But his team was so amazing. After, not only did they clean up after themselves, but then they walked around with a magnet to make sure that there was no screws, no nails, no nothing on the ground that we would pick up in our tires. And I thought, what a great experience that was. I was expecting to have to sweep the parking lot.
yeah.
They swept it and then walked around with a magnet to make sure that they hadn't missed anything.
So that's the best part of what we're talking about. I was going to save that for
Yeah,
last.
yes.
But
But they get something I was dreading. Okay, after I put in a 12-hour day, I'm going to go out there and sweep my parking lot. They buttoned everything up so nicely that that was a great experience. And I
yeah.
wasn't expecting that.
Now, have you ever seen the Payless experience where they had this store called Palesi? And what
I
they
think
did,
so.
you haven't seen that, you got to watch it. It's fantastic.
Uh-huh.
So what they did is they created this store in the mall called Palesi, dressed people up in nice tuxes and
Uh-huh.
good looking clothes, and they put the Payless shoes on display there,
Okay.
and they were selling those shoes for $500-600, and they bought in influencers, people that go to parties, and
Mm-hmm.
internet influencers, designers, and they came in and they'd see the shoes. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I would wear this at a fancy party, and talking all posh and everything. So
And they're just
and they
Payless
sold them
shoes.
the shoes.
Uh-huh.
And after they sold them the shoes, they told them, well, this is just something we're doing as an experiment. This is actually from Payless. That's a $30 shoe that you just paid $500 for.
Uh-huh.
And I love this thing because it makes the point. A lot of people miss the point is they took a crappy product and married it with a fantastic presentation,
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to sell it for a lot more.
Right.
What I see from contractors and home improvement and remodelers is you have an excellent product and process, but you have a crappy presentation
Presentation.
of
Yes.
your product and your process.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you really can work on your business to make things, I say, take what you do that's ordinary and make it extraordinary.
Right.
For instance, we have a sales presentation that we do for putting in new carpet. So it includes moving the furniture. It includes we're going to tear out your carpet, sweep the floors, and inspect the tack strips. Well, everybody does that, but nobody tells people they do
And
that.
nobody says anything.
The other thing,
Right.
yeah, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to throw out the carpet for you. We're not going to like leave it on the sidewalk. Again, everybody does that, but
But
nobody talks about that, and it leaves the
okay.
impression that, well, I don't know if Home Depot does that. I don't know if the other guy here, what they do with the carpet. I don't know if they throw it out, if they leave
I
it
don't
on
want
the
to get
sidewalk.
I don't want to get stuck with it. I don't know how
Yeah,
to get rid of it. Right.
yeah. And then we treat your
Yeah.
floors with Dumbo spray, so we always install your pad and carpet on a fresh, clean surface. You know, nobody can match that presentation that hasn't worked
No.
with me. So
Right.
they nobody can match that presentation, and it makes somebody feel so good. My goal for my clients is I want you to be more expensive, and they choose you anyway.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and a lot of times they don't want to get other estimates because they're feeling good, they're feeling satisfied. Yeah, it's more than they expected, or it's more than they wanted to pay, but they love the carpet, they love the experience, and absolutely, they'd rather go with you.
Mhm. Isn't that term that we heard called refreshingly expensive?
Yeah, that was funny. Yes,
That
that
was
was
pretty
great.
good. I love that term.
Refreshingly expensive.
I've not used it yet, but refreshingly expensive.
Yeah,
And the whole experience, it matches up to that.
yeah.
From the first time they meet you to the when the job is done and you're out the door.
Well, and even the marketing. But let's go a step further on how do you create a great experience. Generally, that's done through communication. It's
Hmm.
not by doing a good job. Because even if you don't do a good job or there's a problem, if you fix it, they're a customer for life.
Right.
If there's never a problem, then they may use somebody else because the
Right.
assumption is
Uh-huh.
anybody can do this. But if there's a problem, you take care of it, they'll never use anybody else. Um, Another thing we found, and here's a great tip to getting more five-star reviews. We call customers up and say, "Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you rate the installers 1 to 5? How do you think they did?" And you go, "Oh man, they did a great job." And you can say that about the roofers. They did a great job. Hey, would you do me a favor? We named that crew. This is our Starlight crew. Can you mention them on a review? I'm going to send you a link for a review. Would you mention them in the review? And we'll give
Oh,
them a
very
little
good.
bonus. It's that way you're not doing a self-serving review. You're not saying, "Hey, would you give me a review?"
Right.
That's self-serving. And it's a little
Right.
annoying because we're
It
being
is.
asked at every turn to give a review.
Right.
But asking them to review the installers who just worked really hard, and mentioning them by name,
Hmm.
it's huge. And not only that, you take that review and print it off and highlight that installer's name and and pin it up in your warehouse.
Yeah.
and you'll get an installation team like you won't believe
That's right.
because,
You have all superstars.
yep, well,
Yep.
in their pride,
Yeah.
when they see that, and it's what influences people the most. It's not pay. And a lot of us make that mistake thinking giving more money will improve the performance. No,
Mm,
it's showing the appreciation, showing that you value them. That's going to do more to have loyal employees, and absolutely give them bonuses, give them good pay, give them what they're worth. But at the end of the day, it's going to be that communication, the appreciation that you show them. It works for the installers, it works for the client.
right. I'm going to say this is almost like marketing internally,
Yeah.
marketing to your team by putting up those reviews, letting them feel that you appreciate them. You know, different times we talk about, who's our customer. We have internal customers, we have external customers.
Yeah.
And our internal customers are our team. And if we're not treating them the same way that we treat our external customers, then our internal customers will never give our external customers that excellence, that experience that we want them to do because they're not feeling it at home.
And you want to go a step further, you really want to improve the performance of the sales team. There's really one way that does it better than anything, and that's keeping score of the game. You got to have a weekly sales meeting.
Right,
You got to show where your numbers are at for the year and year to date and month to date, because there's nobody that can look at the score and not want to do better.
right.
Anytime we see a score, and you can't do this once a month. It won't have the same impact. You've
Hmm.
got to have a weekly meeting, and everybody wants to do better. And if your sales are at 350,000, it's the 25th of the month. Hey guys, what can we close to get to 400? What can we do to get over that hump? Everybody's a little bit more energetic and willing to call somebody, willing to send an email or a text to try and close that other sale, get the manager involved, try to close that other
Yeah.
sale to get it. So they're not even influenced by the pay. And I've done this many times where I've got a salesperson that's in the bonus, and uh, the end of the month is Thursday. And I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, let's extend the month till Saturday for you. That way, anything you close on Saturday, you'll get the bonus. I've never had anybody sell a dime more worth of flooring or anything every time I extended a month for somebody. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it works really good to keep score of the game. And I had somebody that had a rolling 30-day calendar, and I said, no, you got to treat it like it's a real game.
Right.
First week is
Yep.
first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, end of the game. So
Right.
how do we do
Yep.
this game? How do we do last month's game? And you're
Mhm.
always comparing these things, and you're always trying to do better.
Yeah. Jerry, this has been great. I think you and I could probably go on for the rest of the day
Yep.
if we had half a chance, but we're coming up on time. So it's time for our magic question. And the question that I know our listeners are waiting for, because this is where we unlock a hidden or unique profit leak that you've seen as you've been working with home service businesses.
The greatest impact you can have on your business, you talked about it with those roofers, um, is you got to create a sales presentation. So what I do with my clients, and anybody can do this, write down your process and then build it into your sales presentation. It's like, you didn't expect them to do that. Well, that part should have been in their sales presentation to try and get you excited up front. We have a white glove process where we make sure your house is clean and beautiful. You will have no mess, no nails, nothing on the floor. And again, other people may do that, but
Right.
they don't say it well, and it's not in. You got to use paper. Use a paper presentation because it's tangible, it's a good leave behind. But this is the work that your competitors aren't willing to do. It's that extra work to take time, write it up on a whiteboard. What are 10 things that you guys do that is to the benefit of the customer and really shows what what that experience is going to be like, what they can expect. It has the greatest impact on increasing your closing rate and increasing your profit and profit margins. So, um, if you do a fantastic job, you need to put that in a sales presentation.
And
And
then name it, right?
yeah, you can name that
And then
sales
name
presentation
it.
or even go down to naming the parts in that,
Parts
like
of
we
it,
had the
right?
Dumbo spray. But we go down to the owner's promise guarantee. So the one thing I love about working here, Diane is the owner. She stands behind everything we do. And so I have permission to take care of my customers. It wasn't like that at Home Depot. You get to run around. That's embarrassing. But with this company, it feels good to have an owner that stands behind everything we do. That's a powerful tool to give to your sales team.
It is. Wow.
Mhm.
That's cool. You just gave me
So.
chills on that one.
This is a lot of fun. Look, everything we do, all of our strategies are really at the end of the day, they're for the benefit of our customers.
Hmm.
Even charging higher prices, bundling, packaging, some of the sales systems, some of the things we do, it's really to benefit that customer. We want to create an excellent customer experience. We want to honestly, ethically sell at higher prices, again, for the benefit of a customer, because they're always going to be glad with the result of having paid more versus saving money and not getting something that they love.
Right. Right. Jerry, this has been fantastic.
Okay.
How can people reach out and learn more about what you're doing and how you're doing it and possibly work with you?
It's simple. Go to jerrylevinson.com and you can see apply for jerrylevinson.com/apply, but that link is there on jerrylevinson.com. Very available on Facebook too. I'm all over Facebook. And I have a couple of flooring groups in there. Again, we're going to start one for kitchen and bath remodeling. So anything that is in that home improvement arena, we can really help you profit now.
All right. I love that. I love when we can find ways for these hardworking home service businesses to become more profitable because
Yeah.
they work so hard.
I know
And
I love working with them because they do. They work really hard. They deserve for things to go well and to get the profit margins they deserve. They're taking care of their families, taking care of their employees. They really do deserve it. They just need to look. We all need help. I don't care what
yep,
industry
we
you're
do.
in. You're a coach. You're an expert. Tony Robbins hires coaches. The
Right.
coaches hire coaches. They hire experts. The Tiger Woods, the Michael Jordan. All these people have coaches. So why are you trying to figure this out on your own? Get somebody that can help you put it in terms and help you be more profitable in your company.
Right. Yep. Let's take off and go and start growing and
Yeah,
grow those bottom line profit dollars because I'm all about your bottom line.
yeah,
Jerry will help you on your top line, but I'm all about your bottom line.
yeah,
Is we want to see that a nice healthy profit margin in all of our home service businesses.
exactly.
So, Jerry, thank you so much for joining us today. Listeners, thank you for hanging out with us again. We know you're busy and your time is valuable. So, thank you for hanging out with us and spending part of your day here with us. And hopefully, you've learned some great information. And if you have, would you please share this episode with your friends, your colleagues? Would you go over to YouTube, like and subscribe? All of our other channels, like and subscribe. As we continue to grow this podcast, we can serve more and more home service businesses just like you. Remember, I'm going to say it's not just about your top line revenue, it's about how much of that money you're able to keep, how much of that you're able to use for your team and for your family and your community, for your own personal goals. And we're here to help you grow that bottom line profit. So, with that, I'm going to say I'm your host, Diane Gardner, and we're signing off for this episode. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.